I'm Iviani Figueroa, and this is Joy in Our Town. In this program, we talk about churches and just communities and local organizations that are truly making a difference in our local community. And joining us today is Nick Del Vento and Manushka Charles from VOUS Church. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having us. We're so happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, of course. And so we're talking about impacting the community as the body of Christ. And VOUS Church does that through an outreach called I Love My City. And that is an extremely powerful name. Can you tell us about I Love My City?
Yeah, of course. So I Love My City, it comes from this. We have 2 core values that we really base ourselves around. We have 7 in total, but 2 that I want to talk about. Jesus is our message and people are our heart. We believe that we have a heart for people and a heart for our city. We love our city, and our joy is to be able to serve our city in any capacity that we can. So that's where the whole premise of I Love My City came from.
Wow. And so how often is I Love My City?
We have I Love My City meetings monthly. We meet at the end of each month, and we gather large. We gather together in different locations, and we're always talking about it through our social media and different things, so people can always keep up to date with what's going on at I Love My City.
Wow, that's a lot. And Nick, how did it get started?
I Love My City it's been an amazing thing, just like Manushka's saying. Really in the heart of our pastors, Rich and Don Cherie. Early on, before VOUS Church actually started, we had a few interest meetings, and one of the messages that he preached was specifically on serving people. And people are our heart. It's part of one of our values, as Manushka said. And out of that message, really the whole idea of serving our city and watching as God changes it is how that came about. So ever since then, really, which has been over 15, 16 months now, we've just, every Saturday when we gather for I Love My City, we share with people, we say, hey, we're not called to change our city, we're called to serve it, we're called to love it. And as we do that, God is gonna change it. So each I Love My City gathering has been amazing. From the very beginning, really all we did was make some phone calls, send out a few emails. There was people that were interested in coming to serve at any capacity. So we put a date on the calendar and we said, hey, this Saturday we're gonna meet at the middle school that we meet at for church, and we're gonna serve our community. So a whole bunch of people came out, over 100, and just said, hey, we're willing to work, we're willing to serve. So we started painting the school, we started cleaning it, a whole bunch of different things, and it just really has grown into something really, really special.
And it sounds like you do a lot of work with the community,
Yeah.
But let's get specific. What organizations do you guys partner with?
So yeah, one of the things that we thought was, instead of reinventing the wheel of serving or of outreach, let's partner with some organizations that are already established in our community, and some of those are the Miami Rescue Mission, His House, the Children's Home Society, the Lotus House. So many great organizations that are in our city right now that we just really wanted to come alongside of them and support them and really do whatever we can to help them further their vision and what they're doing in our community.
Wow. Manushka, how would you say I Love My City is truly impacting South Florida?
Man, I love I Love My City, and I think that we have such a special opportunity. I think it's impacting it because we get to, we partnered with the Overtown Youth Center, and they're a local outreach group, and it's just amazing to see at each location, whether we're at an outreach center with youth or if we're at a rehab center with senior citizens, the impact that it has on different people. We were at a rehab center recently, and someone was just like, why didn't you guys find us sooner? It's just like that one day that we were there, it's just like, just us spending time with people makes a huge difference, and it may just be something small, but I believe that that's just a seed that's planted that we have no idea what it grows into, the seeds that gets to be planted in the youth and the homeless community. Wherever we go, I believe that it's a seed, and we're just watching it grow each and every month that we get to gather together as a church.
That's good. A lot of times when we answer the call of God and He invites us to help our community, we face a lot of challenges. So I'm sure VOUS Church has faced many. Talk about some of the challenges that you've faced, just particularly with I Love My City.
I Love My City, the heart of it is to serve our community. So right off the bat, when we first started planning for it, we thought, okay, we're a brand new church plant. We've never really done this before. We don't really know who to talk to. We don't really have the greatest ideas. We don't really have the perfect plan or method in order to to make this happen, but we just thought we're just gonna gather people and see where it goes. We're a brand new church at this point, so financially we're not in the strongest place, you know. So if we thought if we can gather a whole bunch of people and maybe we can't solve every need right away, but if we can get a whole bunch of people together to paint a room and clean a bathroom, you know, clean a middle school, then we thought we were winning if we did that. So one of the challenges for sure was, you know, we don't know what we're doing. we're just going to step out in faith and help people.
Wow. So for someone in the audience that's never been to I Love My City, but you know, maybe they were really intrigued by this, give them a typical scenario or day for someone that's joining and volunteering on a Saturday.
Yeah, I love it. The great thing that we get to do is gather large. And I love that part of I Love My City because it's so special. Before we break out into different projects or different organizations, we have that moment where we get to gather together. And so they'll come in wherever we'll be meeting. Sometimes we're meeting at the school that we meet at for church, and we'll just have a moment of worship. We'll pray, and we'll just really just explain the heart of I Love My City so people get the full scope of what we're doing. And even though they can't be at every single project, they get to hear about the different projects that we'll be going out to. So people get that opportunity to choose whichever project they'll be at that day. And then as a group, they collectively meet with their project leaders, and they'll talk through the project, and they'll break out into the different areas. So people can just expect to find community, and it's a great time of fellowship. We get to talk with people, meet brand new people. The incredible thing is some people walk in, they've never been to a Sunday service, they've never been to a crew. Crews are small groups of church, and their first time in their encounter with church is at I Love My City project, and they really get to connect with the heart. And the heartbeat of our church is I Love My City, us gathering together. You know, we have 5 services right now, and so we may not see every single person in one of those 5 services, but it's the time where the church gets to gather large, where every single person, whether you come to our morning service or our evening service, we all get to be there that morning. People get to meet new people, get to talk to new faces, and really just come together. I think the collaboration and the community part of it is what makes I Love My City so special, and that's what people can expect when they come into a project. Not only do they get to serve their city, but they do have an opportunity to connect with other people.
Wow.
Absolutely. I think there was a really cool story along with what Manishka's saying right now. Is like there was a lady that, because we're in Wynwood, Miami, so it's an area that is surrounded by, where the middle school that we're at is surrounded by homes, and a lady that had wanted to be a part of church for 20 years heard about what was happening at the middle school, and she saw that there was so many people there and was curious as to what was going on. So she came to the school for an I Love My City before ever coming to our church. And through that, she got plugged into church, she got plugged into team, she got plugged into a small group, and really her life has completely changed just because of a Saturday outreach, I Love My City gathering, and it was pretty special.
What an amazing testimony. And if anyone looks at social media and looks at VOUS Church, they'll definitely see that it's flooded. One of the things that I notice annually that you guys do is an Easter egg drop, and that's part of I Love My City as well. And so there's also the community outreach part and the events. So can you guys talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we love being able to do the Easter egg drop. It's annual. It's always the day before Easter, so that Saturday, right before Easter Sunday, we gather our community, and it's so fun. We drop 20,000 eggs into a field from a helicopter.
How many?
20,000 eggs, and it's just so great because we had so many people who partnered with us, who sponsored and really helped out this event. That I think that day 700 new people connected to our church, and it's great to see that, you know, we can reach out to our community in different ways. We can serve our city in different ways, and people could come out just to have a good time, and little do they know they're going to meet Jesus. And so it's such a great way to get different people in our community to be able to connect to our church.
Absolutely. There was, I think, almost 2,000 people come to our egg drops, and really it's something really unique and special because from what I heard, there was people in the community that really have never seen anything happen like that in their neighborhood, you know. And here we are in a middle school. It's a big open field, and it's like God just provided that field and put that middle school in the perfect place to be able to have an outreach like this. I remember specifically, a guy showed up to the Easter egg drop, walked onto the field, and just started crying because he had never, ever in his 30 years of living in that part of town had never seen anything like it before. So it was really, really cool.
Now, you guys talk about a lot of testimonies from outside the church, but I can tell in the church there's probably a ton of testimonies with people really getting plugged into I Love My City. Can you share just one testimony of maybe a servant leader that was completely impacted and turned around?
For sure, there's so many stories. I think one of my favorite stories is talking to guy in our church, and he was just saying that he was walking through Bayside in Miami, and there was a group of people giving out water bottles, and it was one of our projects where we were going around, we were handing out water bottles, we were cleaning the streets, and someone handed them a water bottle that said VOUS Church on it, and he took the water bottle and just placed it to the side, and the next day they're just like, they looked at the water bottle, was like, hey, this church is like not too far from us, we should go check it out. So him and his friend went out and checked out church, having no idea what kind of impact it would have on their lives. And you look 8 months later, they're in church, they're serving, their lives are completely changed. And I think as a church, we're in the long-term game. You know, we're in it to see people's journeys. And it's great to know that his journey started with a water bottle for someone in I Love My City. And now he serves in I Love My City. He's in small groups, he's on a team. And it's great to see how people can plug in even through an I Love My City. And I think that's just the important thing for us. We want to keep that. We want to make sure that people can find a home and be on a journey, no matter if it's through a Sunday service or if it's an I Love My City. I think the message always is the same. Jesus will always be our message, and people will always be our heart. And I think that that goes for everything that we do. And it's so special to see different testimonies of servant leaders who are impacted through I Love My City.
Wow. And who's invited to help out with I Love My City?
Everybody. Everyone can come to I Love My City. It's a community outreach, and it's the great thing where the church gets to partner with our community. We get to know people in our community. Our community knows us, which is an incredible thing. We have neighbors. We have next door neighbors, people living in different houses. And sometimes for Christmas, we did like a caroling thing, and we're walking through the streets singing Christmas carols. And it's great to see familiar faces in our community. When like, oh, I know who lives there. I know who lives across the street. And so every person is invited to I Love My City. Anyone can come.
Absolutely. I mean, they're serving opportunities for every capacity, for every age group. So as Manu's saying, everybody's welcome to I Love My City, for sure.
And how do people get involved?
You can go on VOUSchurch.com, and we have an I Love My City tab, or you can just show up. That's the great thing. That's the special thing. We have our website has our dates, our social media. You can just come to wherever we're meeting, and you can just jump right in. We make it as easy as possible for people to be able to serve.
And so it's once a month, and it's the last Saturday?
Usually the last Saturday of every month. Sometimes it changes, but it is always up on our website or our social media. There's so many different ways that people can find out when I Love My City happens.
That's amazing. Well, we have 1 minute left, so maybe for 30 seconds, if you want to encourage someone to come out and just make sure they catch the next I Love My City, right?
Absolutely. I Love My City is really special. Every month, it is just getting better and better. It's growing. We need as many people to be a part of these gatherings as possible, so our city can continue to get changed and continue to hear the good news about Jesus.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You've been watching Joy in Our Town. Stay tuned, there's more to come.
Bye, Janet. It's nice seeing you again. You look good, girl. Just let me know what I can do to help.
Well, to help me, she'd have to help every day. Every hour, every ouch, every time my wife calls for help. I mean, maybe she could help me make her lunch, but the crust, all the crust has to be cut off the corners. She could help me run to the doctor for the 5th time this week, help me with the specialist and the second opinions and the painful paperwork about paperwork. Help me deal with how hard it is seeing my wife's name on so much paperwork. But this is on me. I'm the only one who can do this, like this, for her. Besides,
Take care.
we will. Janet doesn't like her cooking anyway.
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
Hi, I'm Iviani Figueroa, and this is Joy in Our Town. If you've been watching us, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, we have Nick Del Vento and Manushka Charles from VOUS Church. We're so excited to have you guys once again after the break.
It's been amazing.
I know.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I think Manu's had a lot of fun, actually.
I'm having the time of my
She
life.
loves this.
I mean, of course you are. You just got done talking about I Love My City, which is your community outreach. You guys meet once a month. at the end of the month and are doing amazing things throughout just South Florida in general, partnering with Miami Rescue Mission, and just a huge, huge impact.
Yeah.
You guys are a busy church. It's hard to keep up with all the activities you guys have going. I know that there is just so much more to come with you guys. And I know that every single year, so you do your Easter egg drop, but you also do something called VOUS Conference. So it's perfectly dubbed VOUS Conference after VOUS Church.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about VOUS Conference.
Yeah, we look at VOUS Conference as our largest outreach. I Love My City projects happen once a month. And the great thing about VOUS Conference is thousands of people get to gather at South Beach. We're at the Fillmore Theater every June, and it is just a great way. Three things we say: it's about encountering God, equipping the church, and empowering next generation leaders. We believe in these three things, and we believe as we get to gather together with different churches, and we believe in the body of Christ. We believe in the local church, and the fact that we get to gather the local church in one place in South Florida, I think it's such a special thing. People come from all over the world and all over our city to VOUS Conference.
Absolutely. It's one of the funnest things that we get to do as,
Yep.
as a church, I think. So much work goes into it, a lot of preparation, a lot of planning, but it really is so worth it. Every year, so many lives are changed. Pastors leave inspired, churches leave inspired. It's really something special.
How did it get started?
VOUS Conference. I love the idea of VOUS Conference because I may have not been there for the start, but I feel like since I've got there, I was like, I get to be a part of this story. It started at Trinity Church. Pastor Rich and Don Cherie, there was a Tuesday night gathering called the Rendezvous. And the Rendezvous just grew exponentially, just seeing young people, thousands of young people coming and meeting on a Tuesday night, just meeting Jesus. And so the first VOUS Conference happened 8 years ago at Trinity Church. And from there, we've just seen it grow so large. We've seen it grow, and we've seen so many people come through it, so many great testimonies, so many stories, so many lives that have been changed, and leaders who've been equipped and empowered. And so we've just watched God grow VOUS Conference into something so special to what we get to see it as today.
Wow. And so some of the speakers that are coming up for this next conference are TBN favorites. So can you guys talk to us a little bit about that?
Pastor John Gray will be with us, Pastor Carl Lenz from Hillsong NYC, and Pastor Judah Smith from the City Church in Seattle. We're really excited about them coming. Our church is excited. The city is excited, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, and we also have, all the way from LA, Mosaic Music. They're going to be sharing their I mean, if you haven't heard their music, they're absolutely incredible. And we're just so excited that they'll be sharing with us and leading us in worship during conference. It's going to be such a special weekend.
Wow, this conference sounds a little bit unique. It sounds like you're bringing a lot of different cultures and diversity together. Would you say it's unique?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've been to anything like VOUS Conference. I can clearly remember my first conference just being in complete awe. I looked around at the room, and as you just see so many young people, different ages, races, whatever it is, just worshiping God in one place is just something truly special. I really couldn't even describe it, but I just remember just being so empowered leaving that conference. I just remember just like, wow, like I want to make sure that I'm telling more people about Jesus. I just, like, you just leave on fire.
Absolutely.
I think after the conference, you're just like, you just feel great about what God's doing.
Absolutely. I think creatively it's unique. I think it's unique in so many different ways. There's breakout sessions that take place for youth pastors, for senior pastors, for creative pastors and teams, and they just get really specific as to different areas in church creatively, for example, where they can actually leave that breakout session, they can leave conference with something to go back to their church with and actually apply it and grow their team, edify their team, help their team get stronger. It's really cool.
Now, you said that the conference was birthed out of a young adult ministry.
Yep.
Is the conference just for young adults?
Conference is for everyone. It is for everyone. We see all people, all ages come into the conference because I feel like anyone can come into the conference and leave with something. There's something there for every single person, and we make it as such. It's not just for young people, it's for all ages. Everyone is welcome to conference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, I'm sure you have so many testimonies that you can share from VOUS Conference. Can you give us one that really just motivated you and encouraged you and you can share with the audience?
Absolutely. So I remember specifically in a past VOUS conference, I had a youth pastor come up to me at the end of conference with tears in his eyes, him and his wife had been in youth ministry for, I think it was a little over 5 years. And they're just come up to me and they're just talking to us about their experience at VOUS Conference for the past 3 days that it was going on. And they were just absolutely blown away as to what it is that they had experienced from the messages during the night sessions, from the breakout sessions, really just the leadership and the example and the planning and the details that went into the conference. It's like every aspect of the conference impacted them in a great way, and they had left so inspired. They were on the brink of giving up.
Wow.
They didn't want to continue ministry. They didn't think that it was possible to be inspiring or to be relevant, and they just left so inspired. And till this day, they are, continuing to experience VOUS Conference all wherever they are. So it's really cool.
That's amazing. Manushka, do you have a testimony you can share?
Yeah,
I can see it on your face.
I remember one of my favorite conference moments. Pastor Jensen Franklin was preaching, and I was completely blown away because he had a pizza box. I'd never seen anyone preach with a pizza box.
Never.
Never seen anyone preach with a pizza box at all. But then, even so, to be impacted so much, because his whole idea was being empty and clean. And he talked about just the vessels, the story in the Old Testament where just the lady just needed empty vessels, and he just talked about, hey, it's never, the oil is never the problem. It's always just being an empty vessel. Right. And talking about his whole pizza box reference was like, nobody would want to get a pizza delivered without a box. And just like the gifts that God have put on the inside of us, it gets delivered in some way. And so we all have a gift, and God has all placed something on the inside of us. We just got to be empty and clean. We just got to be available vessels. And I think it was just such a life change for me, and just so many people. I had invited so many of my friends and family from out of town to come to conference, and they just like, did that man just preach with a pizza box that way? and it just really allowed us to leave there just knowing, hey, I want to be available to God. I want to be able to be used by God however possible, because the oil is never the problem. God's always pouring out into our lives. We've just got to be open to receive it. And I just want to live my life constantly just knowing that, hey, I'm going to be available to wherever God wants me, wherever he wants me to do. I want to be available. And I loved being able to see my friends and my family leave with that same revelation, just knowing, hey, I can go back to my city. My family's from Brooklyn, New York, and they have youth ministries there at their church. And it's great for them to leave with that, just knowing, hey, just got to be available, open, and ready for God. And I think that's just the special thing about conference, just people leaving with a revelation of who God is and what God can do in their city, what God can do wherever they are. And that's what makes conference so incredible.
So good.
That's beautiful. Nick, I know off camera we talked a bit about just from people coming from different just regions, right, to come visit VOUS Conference. You even mentioned Brooklyn. So is this more of an international thing, or people coming from all over?
Totally. People come from all over the country, but the special thing is when you see people coming from different parts of the world. So we have groups, and it's not just one or two people, but they're actual groups of people from different ministries coming internationally. So we have a group coming from Sweden, groups come from Latin America. There's groups that come from all over the place. So just seeing the impact that it's making, not just in our city, in our nation, but across the world is like, it's just incredible that we actually get to be a part of this. Yep. It's awesome.
That's amazing. And it's typically in the month of June, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So talk to me a little bit about how many servant leaders come together. How does VOUS Conference get put on?
And we can't do anything alone. We always say this, it's not from the gifts and talents of a few, but the sacrifices of many.
Yep.
So many people come around VOUS Conference to make it possible. We have hundreds of servant leaders that come from our team that just help work in different areas. We have so many different areas to serve, and there's always opportunities to serve VOUS Conference, and we encourage people to serve in our conference, because that's the only way that it could be put on, just through the help of our servant leaders.
For sure, and the partnership of our servant leaders with the venue together, and it just really creates a really special moment that we get to work alongside a city, like South Beach, Miami Beach, and it's really cool. So many people just are involved in making VOUS Conference happen, and everybody at the end of it, you would think that everybody would be exhausted, which physically we get tired. Manu doesn't get tired,
Never.
but most people get tired, but at the end of it, you just feel so refreshed because you gave so much in order for other people to be helped, and it really is truly amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that because I think of it like it's our conference. It's not just one person's conference, but it's our conference. We get to do it together, and I think everyone feels the weight of that when conference is over and we kind of talk about the wins and we celebrate. That's every single person's win.
Yeah.
We all win when VOUS conference happens.
So true.
And what's the theme for this year's conference?
The theme for this year's conference.
In God We Trust.
Yes.
Okay.
In God We Trust. That is an amazing theme, and I can't wait for us to be talking around that when the time comes. So it's gonna be so special. We're VOUSconference.com. People can go on and find out more about how to register. We can
Okay.
register groups for a conference, and we encourage pastors and leaders to just bring as many people as they can, so that not only do they get to be poured into, but also their team and their youth and whoever they bring. We believe that they'll leave with something.
Definitely.
Wow. Now I have to make mention because the audience might not know, but VOUS Church gathers every single week at a middle school.
Yes.
You're doing all these amazing international almost things with no stamped, marked building, but yet you guys are making it happen. Talk to me a little bit about that. I think that can really encourage some churches that are, in the journey of just starting up, or, even seasoned ones that,
Yeah.
There's actually, surprisingly, from what we discovered, is that there's a lot of churches that begin in schools, whether
Yeah.
it's an elementary, middle, or high school. And we got the opportunity to start VOUS Church at a middle school, Jose de Diego Middle School in Wynwood. The principal there is incredible. The staff is amazing. And they welcomed us with open arms. So it was an opportunity that we feel God provided to be there. And it's a great location. It's a great school, and we get to do church there. It's pretty awesome. Kids hear about us, they find out and come to church on Sundays, and it's really cool. We're in a middle school in the middle of a neighborhood. It's great.
Wow. Well, for those that really want to find out more about VOUS Church and how to get plugged in and connected, can you tell them, how to do that? Website, social media?
VOUSchurch.com, and on all social media, it's VOUS Church, VOUS Church. People can find us on there. We are always updating our social media so people can get connected. I love this age of technology that we live in, where you can just hop on your phone and get any details or information that you need right there. So we're on there. We're making some noise on social media. So that's where people can find out more information.
Okay. And the name VOUS, really unique.
Yep.
What's that about?
It's short for the rendezvous, which means
Okay.
the meeting place. And what's really cool is VOUS in French means you, so it's your church.
Oh, I love that.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, you guys gather on Sundays?
We gather on Sundays.
Okay.
We have different service times, and that can all be found on our website, and people can stay up to date with where we're meeting and our services.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching Joy in Our Town. I've been your host, Iviani Figueroa. Until next time, remember, the best is yet to come.